Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 9-game NBA main set on Saturday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL sites on Draftkings. If you guys are unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. I'll link in the description below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you guys are interested in signing up for premium content, and I offer that on patreon.com. A couple different packages that I offer, esports as well as NBA, also linked down below. And then finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this show. If this is your first time watching, maybe you're not familiar with what Prize Picks is. Well, basically the idea is you're taking over under on fantasy points. They have first half, they have second half projections here, so you can literally play one for the second half. So like, for example, for the second half of the late game, Kawhi Leonard is projected for 25.7 fantasy points. So do you like the under, do you like the over? You can mix and match. Again, they have NFL, they have college, they have PGA, they have esports. They have everything. So if you guys want to sign up, you can use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, if you put $100 in, you get a free $100 to play with. And yeah, with that all out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before I talk about players and the prices for this 9-game slate, let's look back from the lineup from Friday. Friday was on the right track. Just got really unlucky. And yes, I am tilted, but I'm not as tilted as you would think because like I think I was on the right path there. We just got really unlucky. So let's go over my lineup. I'm currently cashing right now, but it's not going to hold in tournaments. So Fred VanVleet, Diallo, Kendrick Williams, Sabonis, Nikola Vucevic, D'Angelo Russell, Isaiah Roby, and Baisley. So, obviously I was hammering home OKC. Play as many as you can. I said 3 to 5. I said in Patreon, play at least 3. And I literally went over a lineup. Like, you could literally play the entire starting 5. And if you did, they all pretty much got there. Diallo, Williams was okay. Roby was on fire. Baisley was solid. And then Horford went off. A little bit tilted about that. I played Al Horford the last time. He kind of had a floor game. It was Baisley that went off. I go to Baisley this time. It's Horford. What can you do about that? Vucevic was one of my priorities. One for almost 80 fantasy points. He was about 50% owned in this tournament, which I was really surprised about. He was like 40% in a couple other tournaments. I thought he was literally the clear play. I was really, really surprised when I was seeing like 40 to 50% owned for Nikola Vucevic. So that was huge. Almost 80 fantasy points for Vuce. Unfortunately, my boy Sabonis does not play the fourth quarter at all. The Pacers just ride to the bench, which we have like never seen before. So that's one where it's like, okay, yes, Sabonis is not playing great, but give him another 10 minutes, it probably gets mid-30s, maybe even close to 40, like maybe close to value, which I would have taken for sure. So that's just, you can't predict that stuff. Yeah, that was a bit unlucky. And then Toronto. So I was also hammering down, really like the top 3 guys for the Raptors. In Lowry, Siakam, and VanVleet. I basically said there's no rhyme or reason to who goes off. It's just kind of random. You got to get lucky. Who do I play? I play Fred VanVleet. He shoots after his 50-plus real-life game. He couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. And Lowry and Siakam both go for 60-plus. So it's like, okay. Yes, I guessed wrong on the Toronto guy. The other 2 absolutely smashed. Domantas Sabonis randomly just doesn't play the fourth quarter. Can't predict that. So everything else, Vooch, amazing. And then, yeah, the loading up on OKC was definitely the move. And the last piece of my lineup was D'Angelo Russell. It just kind of fit, and I was loading up on OKC, so figured I'd use them as a bring back. But yeah, that's really it for the look back, guys. Hopefully you avoided Sabonis. There were a couple landmines for sure. Like Westbrook was landmine. Washington just got absolutely destroyed. I don't know if you saw that game. I think Brad Beal started the game, I want to say 0 of 14. So yeah, that's obviously unfortunate blowout. And then yeah, the other 2 spend ups I liked were Tatum and Kawhi. But I was prioritizing one of the Raptors guys and Sabonis and Vooch. Again, Vooch got there in a big way. Sabonis not so much. And then the one Raptor I pick has this floor game where the other 2 go off. So it's like, yeah, I was on the right path there, just got a bit unlucky. But that's how it goes sometimes. So really, I'm not that mad about it, because stuff like that can happen. So let's talk about this slate. Let's see. Do they only have one game out right now? Maybe. So, okay. Golden State, Dallas. It's a 231 over under. The Mavs are 4-point favorites. I'm still a little bit tilted about. I'm actually very tilted about that game from last slate, because I had the stack in that game. It was looking amazing, and then just Golden State pulls away in the third. But all right, let's talk about this 9-game slate, and let's start off with Chicago and Orlando. Well, we just saw this game. We do have some pretty significant news, though, and Lauri Markkanen is doubtful. Unlikely to play. So that's a lot of minutes and usage to go around. Zach LaVine, Kobe White, at their respective prices, I think are both good plays. Zach LaVine will play mid to high 30s minutes. He is, the guy with the most upside on the Chicago team. And it's actually a decent matchup. Like, Orlando has not been very good defensively. So I do like Zach LaVine. I do like Kobe White. Again, these guys will have to do more with no Lauri Markkanen. I think they're both pretty solid plays at their respective prices. And then Thad Young. Thad Young's been the guy for me basically every slate for Chicago. And that's going to continue. He'll probably play around 30 minutes. Now, again, the price is slowly coming up. So it's like, I don't think he's a must play by any means. He seems priced about right now. So it's like, definitely not a must play with Thad Young, but I think he'll play about 30 minutes. He can stuff the stat sheet. I think he's a solid play. So yeah, no Markkanen, no Otto Porter Jr., no Wendell Carter Jr. They are pretty thin. So LaVine, the two guards and Thad Young, I think look pretty decent. Garrett Temple at 4.8. I still don't know if I can. I don't think we have to go there. The guy that I do like, and I mentioned him tonight for value, was Patrick Williams, and I think he finished with a pretty solid game. I want to say like maybe close to 40 fantasy points. I like him again here. I mean, they don't have bodies now. There's no Otto, no Wendell, no Markkanen. He's going to have to play big minutes. And at 4.4K, I think that is a little bit too cheap. So right now, I think he's one of the better value plays of the slate. Gafford, the minutes have been too inconsistent for him for me to take a shot there. Denzel at 4K, Satoransky at 3.1. These guys are actually viable here. I want to say, I think Satoransky, with them being thin, I think he played about 20 minutes. Well, let me confirm that. Yeah, so Satoransky played 21, Denzel played 20, Temple played 30, but yeah, I still don't love the price on Garrett Temple. So yeah, I'm expecting those guys to get decent minutes, that being Satoransky and that being Denzel. I think they're both okay punt plays if you want to get a little bit different. On the Orlando side, well, got him at somewhat low ownership this slate, 40 to 50%. We're not going to get that again. Even with the slight price hike to 8.9K, he is going to be the chalk. And I think it's for good reason. It just, again, I love targeting bigs against the Chicago Bulls team. You guys know if you've been following my content all year, I love attacking this Bulls team with the front court. So, Vucevic, once again, one of my favorite plays. He will be the chalk. Now, Cole Anthony was the guy I liked in the mid-range. He had a really solid game. Should play around 30 minutes. I do prefer him to Fournier because Cole Anthony is a guy that's a little bit higher floor due to the assist. You can go to Fournier if you want to, but Fournier is a little bit more scoring dependent. So yeah, both those guards are in play in the mid-range. I would prefer Cole Anthony. I just don't play Terrence Ross, too scoring dependent. I do want to mention one really risky play. It didn't really work out if you took a shot at him tonight, but he played I think 15, 16 minutes, and he's a good point per minute guy. You could realistically use him at min price, Frank Mason that is, if you want to get a little bit different on this slate. But that's it for Orlando. Moving on to Toronto. So yeah, Van Fleet, Lowry, Siakam. I love the matchup again here. I love the matchup against Brooklyn. I like the matchup a lot here against Atlanta. So these guys all look pretty good. Now, again, it was Van Fleet that busted. He went for 77 2 slates ago. Tonight, busted, and it was Lowry and Siakam. So like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason here. It's a good matchup all around, individually all around good matchup. So I say just go with what works. And you could play more than one if you want to, but I think definitely trying to get to one of these guys is not a bad idea in a smash spot here against the Atlanta Hawks. So yeah, Van Fleet, Lowry, Siakam all look good. You got to hope the one that you play doesn't have his floor game. Again, tonight for me it was Van Fleet, unfortunately. Norman Powell at almost 7K. Would rather get to Siakam, Lowry, and Van Fleet. And then Boucher, he played mid-20s minutes tonight. The minutes are just so up and down on him. But this Atlanta team is big. I could see him getting extended a little bit. I think he's very much in play for tournaments. It's just a question of does he get the minutes? And again, I don't know. Baines is an okay value option. He'll probably play around, I'd say, mid-20s minutes. Boucher's a better point per minute guy, so if they both play similar minutes, I would rather take the shot on Boucher. Now, will we get similar minutes? You just don't know. You never know with Boucher and his minutes. That's why he's a good GPP play. On the Atlanta Hawks side, so Trae Young is once again questionable. He missed that last game. If Trae Young is out, fine, going right back to the well with Rajon Rondo. I'm sure some people will avoid him because he shot 0 of 7. I think that's a mistake. If Trae Young is out, I think Rondo is one of the best value plays of the slate. Will probably play around 30 minutes. Can stuff the stat sheet. Again, I know he did not hit a shot. He shot 0 of 7. He still put up 20 fancy points and shot 0 of 7. So, I do like Rondo if Trae Young is out. Now, Capella versus John Collins. Give me John Collins at 7-4. He gets the biggest usage bump when Trae Young is out. I know he kind of had a off game, but that was a blowout, and it was the Jazz. But I would be fine going right back to John Collins if Trae Young is out. Kevin Huerter at 5.4K probable. He'll also have to do more if Trae Young is out. I think he would be a decent play in the mid-range, but that's probably it. If Trae Young is in, then I think it's Trae for me in tournaments, and then I don't think I get to anyone else. All right, Milwaukee, Cleveland. So we just saw the game tonight, and Cleveland actually kept it close. So if you want to go back to the wall with Giannis and Antetokounmpo, you can. I'm still a little bit worried. I know Cleveland kept it close tonight, but it's like there is definitely a blowout risk here. Honestly, I don't really like anything else in Milwaukee. Middleton and Drew just seem priced about right. Portis and Lopez are just okay plays. Neither are playing huge minutes. So really, it's kind of Giannis for me, and that's it. On the Cleveland side, I do have some interest in Andre Drummond. I should have this up too, but I want to say he played 30 minutes tonight. Let me confirm that. He did play 30 minutes tonight, and Jarrett Allen played a little bit alongside him. So if we're going to get, about 30, maybe 30 plus minutes from Andre Drummond, at 7-9, I do like him for tournaments here. If you think the Cavs can keep this game competitive, or maybe if you're playing Giannis Antetokounmpo, it could make sense to run it back with a guy like Andre Drummond. I think 7-9 is a very intriguing price for him in tournaments. If we're going to get about 30, maybe 32 minutes for Drummond, that is too cheap at 7-9. Sexton at 7-3. My one issue with him is he's a little bit scoring dependent, but he has flashed upside. I think he's a decent tournament play. Garland at 6-4. Don't love the price on him. Larry Nance is, I guess I have him questionable. We'll see. If he's out, you could look to, a value guy like Taurean Prince at 4-7 would be decent. Jarrett Allen at 6-4. Even though he played 22 minutes tonight, that's a little bit too pricey for me to go to pay that price for him. All right, moving on to San Antonio and Houston. So, love the Spurs that last slate against Minnesota. DeRozan, Murray, Pirtle, none of them were super high owned. I love them again here. Big San Antonio Spur fan for this slate. So we also have news. So Aldridge and Lonnie Walker are both out, and DeJounte Murray is questionable. That is pretty significant. DeJounte Murray is a pretty high usage guy in this offense. If he is out, I'm pretty high on DeRozan plus those guards. So let's start off with DeMar DeRozan. Either way, even if DeJounte Murray plays or not, I like DeRozan at 7-2. I think that is too cheap. I like the matchup here against Houston. So DeMar DeRozan, really like him at 7.2K. DeJounte Murray, if he plays, I like him too. Again, this is up-tempo game, so Murray and DeRozan would like them both if Murray is in. Now, if Murray's out, obviously it boosted DeRozan. Jakob Poeltl was a little bit unsure about what his minutes would be. Because even in close games when Aldridge is out last game, I know there's one or two games he has in foul trouble. There's a couple games where there's no foul trouble and he still only played mid-20s minutes. So I was like, what I said last slate was hey, if he plays over 30 minutes tonight, he will break the slate. And what happened? He played 34 minutes and he broke the slate at 4.6K. Now he's at 5.8. I still have some interest in him. This Houston team is bigger. Christian Wood is out, but Boogie Cousins will have to play a decent amount. Obviously, we'll talk about Boogie, but he's one of the best plays of the slate. You could honestly run both centers in this game. I do prefer Boogie Cousins, but I have interest in Jakob Poeltl too. If we get over 30 minutes for him again, 5.8K is a little bit underpriced. Now, Keldon Johnson, he's just always a tournament play because you just never know. Minutes or production, right? Let's just look at the last 4 games. 32 minutes, 40 fancy points. 21 minutes, 20 fancy points. 31 minutes, 48 fancy points. 21 minutes, 12 fancy points. So he's a guy that if he is struggling, Popovich has a short leash with him. He will pull him. So that makes him riskier. But below 6K, if DeJounte Murray is out, and in this matchup, I would like him a good amount for tournaments. We know the upside is 40 plus with this guy. So guards. Derek White, Patty Mills, I actually think look like two of the better value plays in the slate if DeJounte Murray is out. If DeJounte Murray is out, we're probably going to get around 30 minutes for both Mills and White. And again, there's no Lonnie Walker too. That's another guard out. So both of them I would like for value. Would prefer Derek White to Patty Mills if I had to pick. And Rudy Gay missed the game last game due to a hip injury. But if DeJounte Murray's out, they're thin. They already have no Aldridge, no Lonnie Walker. Another situation where it matters like how many minutes does he get. If he only plays like 15 to 20, then he's just a fine play. But if he plays 25 plus, he will probably have a really good game for his price. So that's one where you could definitely play him and hope he gets extended a bit. And then, with Lonnie Walker out, he was a guy that was playing somewhere around 20, 25-ish minutes. So that's why, especially if DeJounte Murray's out, that's just more minutes for White and Mills, I think, good. And then Vassell at 3.3K, I think would be viable here, just because they would be thin at guards. So, San Antonio is really a team I like, especially if DeJounte Murray's out. If DeJounte Murray's out, it's DeRozan, it's White, it's Mills. I like Keldon for GPPs. Jakob Poeltl probably has to play some good minutes against Boogie. You can make the argument for Rudy Gay, even Vassell. Really, like all the rotation players for San Antonio would like a lot. On the Houston side, so no Christian Wood. You guys know where I'm going, and it's clear. Boogie Cousins at 6.3K. This is underpriced for him. He will probably play, in games that Christian Wood is out, he was playing around 30 to 35 minutes. And in those games, 36 fancy points when he shot 2 of 16. The next two games, 58 and 50 fancy points. So I'm expecting around 30 minutes from Boogie Cousins, maybe a little bit more. At 6.3K, that is just too cheap. Absolutely love Boogie. John Wall, currently questionable. They've also been taking easy on his minutes. I know that game was a blowout, but he was only on pace for about 30. If he plays kind of a secondary play at 7.5, if he misses, you could make the argument for Victor Oladipo would play more of the point guard. Would probably get around 30 to 35 minutes. He had a bad shooting game, shot 8 of 24. But I would have some interest there in Oladipo if John Wall's out. And then if John Wall's out, you could look to Eric Gordon too, and kind of rely on scoring, but I think he would be a decent play in the mid-range. As far as the value goes for Houston, like Jae'Sean Tate at 5K, probably plays around 30 minutes. It's been a little up and down, but I think he's viable if you want to go there. I know Sterling Brown's been decent, but a lot of that has been garbage time, so I don't necessarily trust it. If you feel really good about it, you can go there. I don't play PJ Tucker. It's just like Isaac Okoro. I don't care what prices he is. I just don't play him. And that's probably it for Houston. So moving on to Minnesota and Oklahoma City. Well, we just saw this game. So obviously you like this game a lot. Again, Karl Anthony Towns is possibly back. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If Karl Anthony Towns is out, then, it's D'Lo and Malik Beasley for tournaments. Both had pretty solid games tonight. And Naz Reid at 6'1", who would probably play around 30 minutes if he can stay out of foul trouble. So those are the three guys we'll look to if Cat is out. If Cat is in, maybe Cat himself if there's no limitations. But if there's limitations, then it kind of just really, honestly, takes everyone out of play for me. So we'll have to keep an eye on the Cat news. That is pretty big. On the Oklahoma City side, so it depends. If all these guys are out again, why not just go right back to loading up an OKC? I don't see why I wouldn't do that. They had an 8-man rotation in a fantastic matchup. So, would go right back to loading up on all these Thunder. So we'll have to keep an eye on SGA news, on Maledon news, and on Dort news. If they're all out, again, they will have 8-man rotation. So Horford, Beasley, Diallo look like three of the best plays of the slate. Kenrich Williams looks good. Isaiah Roby looks good. You can make the argument for literally any player on the Thunder that is active if those guys are all out. Now, let's just say SGA is in and there's no limitations. I think he's actually one of the better plays at 7.4K. So, this is kind of just a wait-and-see approach where we have three guys that are questionable. We'll have to see. So, hard to say at the moment. But if they're all out again, just load up on the Thunder. Brooklyn and Philly. So, what a night with KD. So, gets ruled not starting and then checks in, plays like a short shift, and then gets pulled for COVID protocols. So he is out. They already have that confirmed out for tomorrow's game. So James Harden, Kyrie Irving at 10-7 at 9.4K. I think both look like good options. Even though the matchup is not great, when one of the big three are out, you want to look to these spend ups. So really like Harden, really like Kyrie at their respective prices. Value-wise, I'm not playing Joe Harris at 6K. Jeff Green just seems priced about right. I do think DeAndre Jordan is a little bit intriguing here. And the reason I will say that is because if Joel Embiid plays, Philly is obviously a big team. They're going to need DeAndre Jordan. Like, they cannot go small ball Jeff Green. So I would assume this is a game DeAndre Jordan might get extended a bit. Like, maybe we see close to 30 minutes from him. So I actually think he's a viable value play there because I'm guessing he'll have to play more. And then it's the usual targets with no KD, and you can take a shot in TLC. You can take a shot in Bruce Brown. Do I really feel good about either of those guys? Not really, but they're viable. And then Reggie Perry got sent to the G League. Norvel Pele is going to be the backup center. He's at the flat min price. Again, Philly's big. So, and DeAndre Jordan's not going to play like 35 plus minutes. So, like, I'm guessing we probably get, 15 to 20 minutes from Pele. If that's the case, I actually think he's a good value play at min price. And then on the Philly side, just Embiid news. Embiid is big. He is questionable. If Embiid plays, I like Embiid a lot at the top, and then probably wouldn't get to anyone else. If Embiid misses, well, it's Ben Simmons and it's Tobias Harris, who I would love because, again, you guys know I love targeting players against this Brooklyn team. So I would really like Ben Simmons, would really like Tobias Harris, and would really like Dwight and Tony Bradley. Probably prefer whoever starts, even though it's been the backup that's gotten there the last couple of times. Value-wise, Seth Curry is currently questionable. If he misses, Shake Milton at 4.4K, I think would make for a pretty decent value play. You can make the argument for Maxey too at 3.7, but I just think the upside is a little bit higher on Milton. So, yeah, both those guys would be viable if there's no Seth Curry. And Korkmaz too. Korkmaz started the last game. My issue with Korkmaz is he's kind of scoring dependent, but he did play 38 minutes. So, all three of those fringe guys for Philly would be more in play if Seth Curry is out. Last two games are Golden State and Dallas. So this is the game I stacked last slate. Steph Curry at 9.7K I think is a good GPP play. Probably not an optimal play, but we know the upside is through the roof with him. Wiggins, I'll pass. I know Oubre had a really good game. Shot the ball lights out, 14 of 21. I don't know if I trust it. If you want to ride the hot streak, sure, but I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it. I feel better about Draymond Green just because, especially if Pascal is out. Pascal is currently questionable. If Pascal is out, it's literally Draymond and Toscano Anderson, and that is it. And Draymond Green played 30 minutes in 3 quarters. He was on pace for mid to high 30s minutes. So if the game stays competitive, there's no Eric Pascal, I assume we get similar minutes again from Draymond, which even at 6K, I think he would be a pretty decent play in the mid-range. Toscano Anderson, if there's no Pascal, he played 40 minutes. So we probably get mid-30s minutes in a close game, which would make him a good value play at 4.2K. So yeah, Draymond, Toscano Anderson, if Pascal is out, I like them both at their respective prices. That's probably it. Bazemore, I thought there was a chance he might play more, but there's not giving him minutes. Again, he's a good point per minute guy, but right now he's just hovering around 15 minutes, which makes him hard to play. All right, so let's move on to Dallas. On the Dallas side, Luka and Porzingis, I think both look like decent options. Decent matchup here against the Golden State Warriors. Luka, again, both got pulled because of the blowout. Luka was on pace for a decent game. Porzingis was on pace for a smash game. I think I prefer Porzingis just because this Golden State team is thin in the front court, right? They don't have a lot of height, so Porzingis should be able to dominate. Again, he was on pace for a massive game last game, and then the foul trouble plus the blowout. So I do like Porzingis. I think Luka's fine at the top two. Secondary plays, you can always go to THJ, but he's very reliant in the scoring. Other value plays, Jay Richards in some foul trouble. Kleber's in some foul trouble. You can go to either of them. I think they're fine, but no real priorities for me. Last two games here, Memphis and New Orleans. So John Morant at 7.6. So it was actually on pace for over 30 minutes, and the game blew out. I think I kind of like him for tournaments. He's been a little bit, not great. But we were probably going to get over 30 minutes from him. If we get close to the 35-minute mark, I think he could definitely have a good game at that price, and I don't think he's going to be super popular. Now, JV coming back, that kind of hurts everyone else in this team. If JV is full go, no limitations, you can look to him as a tournament play. If he's going to be limited, it just kind of hurts everyone. Now, there is Brandon Clark news questionable. If he misses, I'm curious to see what they do. Probably a few more minutes for Anderson and Brooks, but neither of those guys would be priorities for me. I will mention Desmond Bane. He's been playing around 20 minutes in close games, 25 in blowouts. He's been decent if you need someone super cheap, but don't hate him. But yeah, that's probably it for me on Memphis. On the New Orleans side, I think both Zion and Brandon Ingram are filler plays, no priorities there. Adams, Bledsoe, Lonzo Ball. Alonzo Ball, the big game tonight, he's at 6K. I mean, he should play. He played 35 minutes, went for 38 fantasy points. 6K is, seems priced about right, maybe a little bit too cheap. So I guess Lonzo would probably be the guy I would look to, but I don't love him. That's really it. Hernan Gomez is now the backup center. He's playing around 15 to 20 minutes a game. You could always punt with him in tournaments to get a little bit different. Lastly, Detroit and the Lakers. This is a game I don't love. A little bit worried this game does not stay close. This Detroit team is not great. So if you're targeting either LeBron James or Anthony Davis, I think it might make sense to run it back with a guy like Jeremy Grant. At 7-1, he's been the Detroit's best player. But yeah, more of a secondary option. Plumlee, again, they're going to need his size if he can stay out of foul trouble. The big question is, can he stay out of foul trouble? I don't know. Now, Derrick Rose got ruled out again due to rest. He was out for an illness and then rest. Kind of curious to see what's going on here with Derrick Rose. If he's out again, then DeLon Wright probably starts and will play decent minutes, probably over 30 if the game stays close. So you could make an argument for him for tournaments. Josh Jackson's at 5-2. Again, you can go there. And nothing I love in Detroit. There's a few viable, really the top 4 guys I think are viable. But yeah, nothing really stands out to me. Saddiq Bey did start. Hold on, let me see. How many minutes does Saddiq Bey play? I'm curious. That game is still going on, but let's see. Yeah, he only played 19. They've started him a few times so far this year, Detroit, and he's only played 20-ish minutes, so you could punt with him, but don't really like that either. And the Lakers side, LeBron, AD at 9-6 and 10-3. Honestly, are more secondary plays for me, probably for other plays in the slate. But if you are playing one of them, maybe it makes sense to run it back with one of those Pistons guys. Value-wise, THT has been a decent part of this rotation now. He's playing around 20 minutes a game. He went for 31 fantasy points that last game. I think you could use him, and if the game blows out, he will get extended a bit. So do have some interest in THT because I think he plays about 20 minutes in a close game. Probably gets extended a bit if the game blows out, which you could see a pretty big game if the game does not stay close. And that's it for the Lakers. And I think that's going to do it for the video as well today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't go live. I will be doing a live stream before lock on my YouTube channel, so make sure to check out tomorrow, guys. Thanks again. Have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.